this question is a typical mixture question, and let's read it quickly. It says, how many kilograms of pure water is to be added to 100 kilograms of a 30% saline solution to make it a 10% saline solution? Okay, so let's talk about what this means. We have a solution of a saline solution, and it's 30% saline. That means it's 70% water, 30% saline. Now, we want to dilute it by adding water, right? So if we keep pouring water into this 30% saline solution, the percentage of saline is going to go down, right? So we want to know how much water we need to add to get it down to a 10% saline solution. So we're going to do these problems all the same way. We're going to make a table, right? And across the top, we're going to have the amount, and we're going to take the percentage of whatever it is. So percentage, in this case, it's saline. Sometimes you'll get a question and it'll say, I have a dye solution, like a red dye solution, and it's 20% red dye. Or I have an acid solution and it's, 32% acid, the other percent water. Okay, so let's think about this. If I have a certain amount of something that is, in this case, 30% saline, let's say I had 100 gallons of liquid and it was 30% saline. If I multiply the 30% times the 100, I can find out how much saline I have in there. Amount of saline, right? Amount of saline. So we're going to set our tables up this way, right? So we're going to multiply the amount we have of the liquid by the percent of whatever it is. In this case, it's saline. Let me write that a little better. And that'll tell us the amount of saline. So let's say I had a salt solution that was 50% salt. If I had 10 gallons of it, that means 10 gallons times 50%. That means I had 5 gallons of pure salt and then 5 gallons of water, right? Okay, so the first row is always going to be the original. Okay. And then we're going to add to that something. In this case, we're going to add to it pure water, right? Because we're trying to dilute it, water. And then the third one is always the mix, right? For mixture problems, there's mostly always going to be 3 rows. Okay, so now I have my table, and I just have to go through my word problem and fill in all the squares I can fill in. So it says, how many kilograms of pure water? So that's the unknown, the amount of pure water I need added. Must be added to 100 kilograms of the original. So I have 100 kilograms of the original, which is 30% saline. And I'm going to write that as 0.30, right? Or 30%. And the goal is to make it a 10%, right? 10% saline solution, right? So we can do these a couple ways, right? I have this amount of water, and I need to fill in the rest of the blanks. So what is the percent of saline in water? Well, we have to assume it's pure water, and the question even wrote pure water. But even if it didn't say pure water, we have to make certain assumptions that there's no saline in the water. So this is 0%, right? And this creates a mixture, right? Which is also an unknown, right? So now across the top, we have our formula. Amount times the percent equals the amount of saline. So we can multiply these. This is 0.3 times 100. And that equals 0.3 times 10 is 3, times 100 is 30, right? So I have 30 kilograms of actual saline, and the other rest is water, right? Now the second row, water, I have W times 0. Well, that's 0, right? And the last, the mixture, it's m times 0.1, which is 0.1 m. Now, for mixture problems, the majority of the time, our equations are going to come down the first column and the last column. And we can see that if we look down here, it was the original plus the water equals the mix, right? So if I go down this first column, right, the 100 W and M, it's 100 plus the water equals the mix, right? And if I go down the right column, I have 30 plus 0 equals 0.1 m. So in this case, I kind of get lucky because one of the equations actually only has one variable, and I can solve it quite easily. So let's do that, right? Let's take advantage of that, and let's solve this equation, right? So I have 30 equals 0.1 m. If I multiply both sides, right, by 10, right, times 10, or divide by 0.1, right, times 10, I get 300 equals m. So m equals 300. So I know how much the mixture is now. I have 300 kilograms of mixture. So now we can use this equation to solve for the amount of water. So let's do that, right? So I have 100 plus W equals 300, right? And I subtract 100 and I get W equals 200. So I know I have 200 kilograms of water. So the question says, how many kilograms of pure water do I need to add? And I would say 200 kilograms of pure water. And that is my solution. So as a recap, the columns, the first column and the last column, are where our equations come from. The formula across the top is always going to be the same. It's going to be the amount of something times the percent of whatever it is, whether it's saline, dye, acid, whatever, equals the amount of whatever that is, saline, dye, or acid. Okay, and then down this side over here, right, we're always going to list on the top row the original, and then what we're adding to it, and then the mixture. That's always going to be the case.